Health and safety started out with workers getting injured at a huge rate in about 100 years ago. And government decided to intervene, and they created the Workers' Compensation Board in Canada, and there was a historic agreement that workers, if injured, it would be no fault. The employer would pay. In the past, workers had to sue the employer if they were injured. And with this historic agreement with workers' compensation, workers, in essence, were free and clear to be protected if they were injured. But in return, they had to give up their right to sue the employer. It's fault-free. Health and safety progressed throughout the 1960s and 70s. In certain industries, it was more ahead, like in oil and gas and industrial construction, and home building and segments like upstream petroleum lagged, and trucking also lagged. But with the rise of regulations in trucking, with the rise of policies that enhance health and safety, like hours of work, you could only work, say, 13 hours a day in trucking instead of working, say, 24 hours. And that also applied in the oil patch as well, because I recall seeing little pink bunnies moving across the road. I was so tired because I'd been up for 36 hours. I worked the shifts my employees worked. And with the advent of auditing, the first year audits were introduced to the road builders in Alberta, they reduced their injury rate by 53%. And it got better. They got over $2 million back in government rebates for enhancing health and safety. And they were sold, both financially, legislatively, morally, and this progressed to the state it is now, where audits have very good quality assurance, and there's people auditing the auditors to make sure we're doing our job. And I've been audited 6 times by the government to determine whether I'm working well, and I pass with flying colors. And I will continue to work within the context of the auditing scope, within the QA, and I deliver value to my clients. I work very, very hard on finding cutting-edge solutions, such as DriveCam in the trucking industry, which records 12 seconds before and 12 seconds after an incident. And it can verify whether a driver is at fault or vindicate them. And it can actually have coaching before an incident occurs, which is extremely powerful. It's behavioral-based safety on steroids. And in other sectors like construction, with hazard assessments that are effective, good orientation programs, and an effective auditing process, construction companies can literally turn on a dime and nip negative trends before they cause losses and injure people and maybe even bankrupt them. So I can do a lot for my clients, and in the future there's things like algorithms using mathematical equations that can actually predict when and where accidents are most likely to happen and how to prevent them, and better use of leading indicators and benchmarking. And these are a few practices which will go a long way to furthering the cause of health and safety and really enhancing workers' lives as well as management's, because management does not have to worry about getting sued into oblivion.